Nam mô Bổn Sư Thích Ca Mâu Ni Phật Tác Đại Chứng Minh. Kính bạch nhà chư tôn đức, kính thưa chư vị giáo sư giám khảo cùng tất cả quý vị hiện diện. Hôm nay là ngày cuối cùng bảo vệ luận án tốt nghiệp chương trình triết học Phật giáo tại Đại học Sakya Buddha. Hôm nay chúng ta có 4 vị nghiên cứu sinh bảo vệ luận án, đó là Mai Trần, Tiến Trần, Kim Luân Võ và Khuê Thành Thái, tỳ kheo Thích Tâm Hiếu. Giờ này đã hợp thời, mời đại chúng chắp tay trang nghiêm niệm Phật cầu gia bị. Nam mô Bổn Sư Thích Ca Mâu Ni Phật. Nam mô Bổn Sư Mâu Ni Phật. Nam mô Bổn Sư Ca Mâu Ni Phật. Mời đại chúng ngồi xuống. Mời sư sinh đầu tiên lên phía trên.
Good evening, Master, Venerable Master. Good evening, all Venerable, and good evening, Professor. I'm so sorry, I'm just nervous. Anyway, I will present my thesis today. It's about Buddhist and scientific philosophical perspective. It will base mainly on the leading into the heart of Diamond Sutra for my literature on the Diamond Sutra and the scientific research that support what the Buddha teach in the Diamond Sutra. This is the table content. In chapter 1, it will be introduction of the Diamond Sutra. Buddha, from the beginning, he say all forms are illusory. So my research question would be, why are all forms illusory? In chapter 2, and based on the main literature that I use, Leading into the Heart of Diamond by Venerable Thích, his commentary and the Diamond Sutra key concept. In chapter 3, we would use the science to support what the Buddha say. So, and the chapter 4 would be the conclusion. In chapter 1, introduction, Buddha in the Diamond Sutra, when he say all forms is illusory, and I wonder why. Of course, understand, he say about emptiness, that we don't have any self-inherent, fixed self-inherent, but why is it illusory? So now Einstein would say in his later years that science without religion is lame and religion without science is blind. If modern science will substantiate any religion, it would be Buddhism. So my research question would be, why is form illusory? So I will discuss the no-self concept, emptiness based on Leading into the Heart of Diamond by Venerable Master, and the scientific research. I will use the reality is an illusion. That's declared by Donald Hoffman, and also conversions of science and spirituality by Donald Hoffman and Spira, where is it? Oh, and Spira, Rupert Spira. Then the form doesn't match. And the other articles, because everything lined up, so. Okay. In chapter 2, it will be literature review. So for Master, Venerable Master, the commentary on Leading into the Heart of Diamond, I do all of 32 chapters, summarize and discussion. And he, if you like to see the detail, please follow the thesis in section 3. The commentary guide practitioner to gain a profound and practical understanding of the Diamond Sutra. The wisdom, the ultimate wisdom, prajna, lies on the non-attachment, non-abidance, and the recognition that all phenomena are illusory and empty of self. Through the commentary, Venerable Master emphasized what the Buddha teach, that enlightenment does not involve acquiring or attaining anything, but rather releasing all attachment and conception and realizing the unconditional, the non-conceptual nature and ineffable essence of all phenomena. His commentary is not an abstract philosophy, but it's a practice teaching on upholding the Dharma. Yeah, okay. Okay, this is a key concept in the Diamond Sutra, emptiness. This is such a core essence in all Buddhism, in Buddhist doctrine. Emptiness is all phenomena are empty of the fixed selves, it's anatta, and they appear superficially, but actually they lack the solid actual existence. They are impermanent, constantly in flux, empty of independent self, nature. They comprise of 5 aggregates, which are constantly changed according to the arriving temporal of conditions. And like a famous saying that one cannot step into the river twice, or one change moment to moment. Why is that? Let's say our body, in 1 second, there are more than 3 million cells change, replace themselves, replace and die and replacing. So even us, in a basic level, we already constantly change, constantly, what's the word, better word? But anyway, that it's impermanent, okay? And Buddha also teach, do not attach to any phenomenon or concept. All conceptual constructs like names, forms, identity, even spiritual attainment are ultimately empty. Holding into these will create delusion and suffering. Clinging to a fixed idea, the thought will be constrained from realizing the true nature. Of course, phenomena change, depends on the condition. Rise, cease, rise, cease. So if we cling to a certain event that we love, about a person that we love, or an event, but it will change, so that then we feel the pain. So the best is not to cling. Buddha teaches the best not to cling to them, okay? And besides, if we only think of the self, the something permanent, then we cannot pass beyond the level of duality, that we cannot go, what it says, like beyond words, okay? And third one would be true wisdom goes beyond words. Language is a means for communication and expression, enable people to converse, exchange ideas, or build upon the intellectual achievement of others. Buddha emphasized that language is a skill for him to create a route for us to navigate the conventional world. The true nature of reality is beyond words and thoughts, and we'll see why. When it comes to science, then we feel so, we respect Buddha so immensely for his vision, that he's not only, he discovered a a spiritual, but also a scientific discovery. We'll see when I will support those Buddha's idea, notion when we go to the scientific part. Okay? Practice generosity without attachment. We don't have enough here. Okay. 4 types of generosity. The material we give, like material wealth. We give fearlessness, dharma, and loving kindness and compassion. I think this is from the Dalai Lama. Usually we have only 3, but here it quoted for 4. It's good though. Loving compassion would be great for the society. So giving material wealth is good, but it's still within the samsara. So we not get out of the cycle of birth, rebirth, and therefore, suffering still come to us. We cannot avoid suffering. Giving fearlessness, that's what I love this one the most, because I think, giving you protection, giving you like the confidence inside yourself that you live in a harmonious society. It's like peace. So I think this one only in our Buddhism. Other I don't see about giving fearlessness. So to me, this is so important for me in a living in a society that, of course, we need to have stable, everybody kind and abide by the law that you don't kill. So it would much better for the community and for the country, for the whole world. Okay, so giving dharma, of course, giving dharma would be the best because it cultivates a person, a bodhisattva, someone that will be free forever from suffering, that we get out of the cycle of birth and rebirth, and so that's like liberate forever. This is only help you a certain time, but it is limited and will end eventually. But this one is like true liberation, and of course, giving loving kindness. So all of us need that. And Bodhisattva, Buddha said, Bodhisattva practice generosity without attachment to self, to others, to sentient beings, and to lifespan. Because if we think of those notions, then we still be bound by the concept, by the I. I'm the giver and the receiver, this is a gift, or expect the reward, and then we will have like Buddha afraid that egoism will arise. Okay. In chapter 3, this part, Diamond Sutra in conversation with science, I will give a few examples, very interesting. This is the YouTube, Your Brain Perception, and then Deception right there by Nova PBS. In Nova, it says they carry the experiment, the blue dress, very, very famous. It's caused like a debate on internet and people arguing because it's the same image. Some people see it blue, but some people see it white and gold. And you see only one object, but many people see things differently. So why? That's an illusion. But we have to see what it is. So the brain is the most complex object that we know in the universe. It has more connection than the star in the Milky Way galaxy. That's how scientists say. Can you imagine? We only use 10% capacity of our brain. If look at Buddha, maybe he used 100%. That's why he see like the utmost, they call the 11th dimension. We only at the 4th dimension. We see 3D plus time, so that's 4-dimensional. But Buddha, you know, the scientists give him that he see the Nirvana is the 11th dimension. So it's been 2,000 more years, so I don't know how long it takes us to go to 11. Okay, so what we see is not a reality. We see the world through our sensory base, our eyes, ears, but then they change. The minute they receive it, they transform it. We think we see the object, but actually we see the wavelength from the object reflect. It depends on the surface. It changes the quality, the characteristic of it. So it goes to our eyes. We see with the wavelength. We think, oh, I see the clock, but actually the wavelength go into the brain. And then the strongest signal will get to the brain, while the weaker one will be stamped out. And even the little thing, it's not the reality that render to us. Also it changed. It's not 100% there already. Just a tiny factor. Okay, and then our brain right here says receive not an image, but wavelength, and immediately transform them. That means change them. The strong signal reach the brain, and the weaker one are suppressed. Just as this level, we already receive an edited version of reality. So we never see the real truth. Okay, your sense of who you, okay, there's a saying, your sense of who you are is an illusion. It's just illusory, like, now this is science. And that's what Buddha say, illusory, and is everything else. Any given time, at any given time, our eyes only see 1%. Could you imagine that? Only 1%, and 99%, that's the brain patch it up based on our knowledge, prior knowledge, our how the brain, the way we make up, somebody have a larger brain, I guess more connection, this solve things faster. Some may be slower. So it's the brain patch up every time I look 1%, and then I blink a little bit 1%. How can it be real? Of the real truth. If one object, but the brain keep filtering, patching, and actually render what I want to see. I will show you the evidence. Okay, so that's the vision, and this is even our ear fool us. Let's say auditory illusion, yoni or laurel. Because how our gene make up, how we build up, some we have tendency to listen to the higher frequency. Some more tend to the lower frequency, and they show example. That's why debate and argument in the internet. Some people hear it yoni. If they listen, they more apt to build to listen to the lower frequency. And the people we hear, they hear yoni, and if they pay attention to the higher frequency, that means higher wavelength, all the auditory signal are wavelength, and then we hear laurel. So, I mean, vision, auditory, it's not even our perception, our sense, it's all build up. It's all make up by outside condition. Even outside condition affect us. So that's why Buddha say, form is illusory. But this is science, okay? So, and okay, this one, another theory that proposed, and I think this one is very interesting because it say the idea of quantum is immortality, so it never die. So one can never truly die because the quantum. And imagine, by then, people, I don't think people eat right, not rice, but right way, maybe no shoe to walk, whatever. How could people think of quantum? You see, and this is quantum 2,500 years ago, but Buddha see it. He see it then that he must use 100% of his brain capacity. You know, because the quantum, they express the superposition. That means at one time we have multiverse. That means we have many wavelengths display at many places, at many dimension. So we only see one because we equip for only to see that wavelength. If it's above a certain wavelength, we just cannot recognize it. So there might be many of me, you, doctor, reverend, everywhere, but we cannot see it. We only see whatever our configuration as a human being let us see. Just like they give example of a radio. There are many waves lying around us. That's why we have so many channels. But at one time, if we tune to the right wavelength, then we hear that channel. But that doesn't mean the wavelength, all of other wavelengths disappear. So the same thing here. We only see only us, but we cannot see. There might be other human, I shouldn't say human being, but other beings or us in the different state, different life there. But we cannot just see it. So there's some how to say, like, you know, that we that karmas, that our parents, your father, mother, not dying. They never truly die. They're in a different dimension. So our loved ones still, but it's just that we cannot see them. They might see us, but we cannot see them. Okay? So it says that there's a parallel between quantum mechanics and Buddhism. One, they say that Buddhist concept of emptiness and dependent arising. Quantum suggests that reality is a complex web. Why? Because after all, you see us, but deep inside we are atoms. And atom is expressed by wavelength. So there are many of me, everybody, another version of us. So this is a complex web of interconnected probability. And Buddhism indicates there is interconnectedness of immeasurable cause and condition. So there is a similarity between Buddhism and quantum mechanics. But how could we, even now I read it, I still don't quite understand. How could Buddha 2,500 years ago see through all of this? That's why Robert Thurman, he gave a talk. He said that Buddha is not only, he may be like a scientist. He discovered spirituality, but also science. He see consciousness in quantum, because consciousness, atom, remember all of us underneath are atoms. So atoms represent themselves under wavelength and particle, many state, particle, wavelength, many, they say more, but I forgot, but I know the two main things is wavelength and particle. So that's why Buddha say it's inexplainable. How could he explain to the people 2,500 years ago this idea? That's why he's very practical. He said experience through meditation like him, because there's no support of science. Then, okay? Okay, now quantum entities such as particle may exist in multiple dimensions. It's like sometimes people experience various realities. You know, this concept now they call it many word interpretation. I don't know who's here experienced that you see something before, you think you know somebody. Okay, so we might have copies, you know, okay, in this analogy, person might have copies of themselves and each experiencing a different branch of multiverse. That means there are many of us and we might go do different things, but the me here only operate in a certain wavelength, okay? Other me could go to a higher level of dimension, but I cannot see it. Okay, just like this is a good example. The fish in the lake. The fish cannot see much, the building, you know, the fly, the airplane, but the tortoise, he from the lake, he could go to the land and he see it. He come back to the lake, he tell the fish, but of course the fish doesn't believe it. It was like me. Before I read the Flower Garment Sutra, and it says that Buddha appeared in many appearances throughout many multiverse to teach Dharma. I say, how can I believe it? Because I love Buddhism, but I'm kind of like reluctantly accept like how one person appear every thousands of other place. But then now that we know the quantum theory, it's possible. They even say one particle here and one particle could be in the universe, but they still connect to each other. I don't know how they come to that research. I don't have time to go deeper. But what I read, that I say, oh, okay, now that's what Buddha represent him in many other, himself, but many other appearance throughout the world or throughout many level of dimension to teach. That might be possible now for me to take it by heart. Before, I'm just like, my religion, I accept faith by my head. But if something's so unreasonable, it's just difficult for me to take it by my heart. So this one really helped me clear the whatever stuck inside my thinking, okay? And then it goes to also from quantum theory, it goes superstring theory, that they suggest multi-dimensionality, and they suggest that there are more spatial, that means 3D, we here. But this theory requires 10 to 11, and this is from Michio Kaku, a very well-known physicist, and he suggests that Buddha is at the 11th dimension and Nibbana. I will show you now, 2,500 years ago, after so much progress in science, now they come and they say the same thing as Buddha said. Yes, that's why Buddha said no attribute to Dharma. Dharma is Dharma, but I have so much attribute. I show so much respect for Buddha, because of his how should we say, omniscience? Yeah, omniscience, of his clairvoyance, omniscience. You know, he's like 10,000 times more than a genius. You know, because he's a human being. He say he's a human being. He's a God, not angel or whatever. He's a human being. So his brain just way over many thousand times of a genius, I think. Okay, now we come to reality is an illusion, and how evolution hid the truth by Donald Hoffman in the Lex Friedman podcast number 239. Okay, Hoffman said that whatever reality is, it's not what you see. What you see is just an adaptive fiction. Why is it adaptive fiction? Like I say, the brain keeps filter and change and then transform it. So there's no reality there. If we see by our own eyes, that's it. We cannot see reality, the true reality Okay? The world we see with our eyes is not real. Now all scientists, American, agree on that. Okay? Before, a long time ago, they call the tradition scientists. They believe that neuron and connection in the brain give out consciousness. But now it's the opposite way. It says consciousness is where everything arises. And Buddha say everything is from your thought. Thought leads everything. So now they say the same thing, that consciousness give rise to the brain, to neuron that shape our sensory. And he said that, but in this podcast, he said that natural selection shape our sensory system. So we see what is necessary for our survival. And that seeing is not necessarily matched with the real, true. That's why he say the evolutionary process does not maximize for the true. It maximizes fitness, which may not necessarily align with the true. That's right, because look, if we look for the truth, but we cannot survive in this environment, then we die, and there's no we for the next generation to come, and we don't survive. Whoever fit the environment will survive better, and they have the chance to go, their gene has a chance to go on because they have time to reproduce. To Darwin, fitness is what? Is the success of reproduction. So to maintain the gene generation to generation. Otherwise, there's no more IU. There's nothing. Our genes just disappear. Okay? And then he will say that, however, underneath it all, even at the atom functioning and from the research of particle and fields, we build our perception through our eyes and senses that try to fit the environment so that we survive. So he called that adaptive set of perceptions. Okay. And he gave the example of using the computer as an interface. You know, the surface of the computer, it's easy for us to use. That's what we see. But underneath it is all wire and all hundreds of computation about 0 and 1, 0 and 1, and 0 and 1. On the top, it's just so easy for us to write a letter. But they con sorry thầy. Con không có quen dùng. Sorry. Okay. With science developing, we use the quantum. We base on quantum, and we get a lot of usage out of it. Like GPS, we use quantum. But now new structure that go beyond Einstein 4-dimensional space and time. We have to go beyond to catch the universe. Otherwise, we never be able to catch the universe, because it keeps expanding and it moves outward, forward. So now we have to go beyond velocity of the light millions of times to catch the universe. And this one at Planck scale, why they say that it's no longer fundamental space and time, because the Planck scale is like 10 to the minus 33. If minus to the 12, that's 1 trillion. And this is minus 33, almost like 3 trillion of 1 centimeter. Imagine how small it is. I only see how they figure out. But anyway, or the minutes, if the minutes, it will be 10 to the minus 43. And that's make me think of Shasna that Buddha mentioned. I don't know how the length of a Shasna, yeah? But now they go to Planck scale, and space and time no longer applicable. So we have to go higher, and they find geometry that doesn't need space and time anymore. If we keep using space and time, science won't progress. For a regular computation, if we use space and time, it takes like hundreds of computation. But when they use this one, only 2 sentences. So now we have to go to the next step. Even we love quantum theory, okay? And so that is precisely what Buddha said. What we see is unreal. The truth is beyond all concept. There's no locality either, because wavelengths spread everywhere, beyond words, beyond expressing, and beyond all thoughts, okay? Because we cannot see quantum then. And because our senses are built for 3-dimensional, we only see appearances, but that they are illusions, okay?
Since tonight we have 4 presentations.
Sorry. What time is it?
We're at 35 minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so
if you
I
can
just close?
Yeah.
Okay. So this in the Conversions of Science and Spirituality by Donald Hoffman and Rupert Spira, they both agree that consciousness is the ultimate reality and not matter, space, or time. And but they approach differently, of course. No, one is like a spiritual teacher, and one is scientist. Hoffman is very well known. He's at our backyard. He's he's a like cognitive teacher, professor at UCI, and he got a PhD at MIT, and he had like more than 100 research paper. Okay. They both agree that physical matter is not what it appears to be. And space-time is just an interface. What we see on top, but the bottom, deep inside, is a different thing. Hoffman say he based on the conscious agent. What is conscious agent? It's like, here, this is explained right here, that has 3 components. That what we see, that's like the world, external world, and then how we perceive it, that's a second factor, and the third one would be the decision action. So he said that all conscious agents is like a facet of a big multi of the whole consciousness, and this make me think of the Buddha nature. Okay, so do we have many minds? But everyone arises from one consciousness. Okay? I better go faster. Okay, chapter conclusion. Through the Diamond Sutra, the Buddha teaches us the fundamental illusion of forms, and forms is empty, non-inherent self in itself, and because of the aggregate, once we talk about the aggregate, that's impermanent. Okay, change constantly. And then through numerous research studies, scientists they agree that the brain alters our perception, continually filter and interpreting sensory information. How can we get the real truth there? Okay, so what we receive from the environment is converted into electronic signal and transmitted to the brain. Therefore, right there will be aberrant right there. Okay. So in the Diamond Sutra, Buddha teaches the construction of the ego, the I, by emphasis on the emptiness of all phenomena, including the self, because the self is empty of inherent existence and depend on temporal. Temporal means come and go, cause and condition. And this sutra also emphasizes on the ephemeral and impermanent, just like the last 4 verses from the Diamond Sutra, so beautifully quoted. That it's like to teach us to dismantle the belief of a stable self, no stable self. That's why we are like a flashlight, a flash lightning. We are a bubble. form is a bubble. So Buddha said confused notion of self is the most damaging misconception, and by deflating it, we have room. We have room for to see other people. Once we lower our eye, we have the heart for more people. We see that we are suffering on this transient of life of ignorance. Okay, so whatever what Buddha teaches and scientific research, our limited configuration of mind and senses, it's only stop us right there, a filter, it gives us a different thing. So we will never be able to see the true nature and the enlightenment unless we, as Buddha guidance, that we practice meditation and follow the Eighth Noble Path. Okay, so that's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we'll do the grading and then we'll ask some questions. Okay, any questions from the panel?
Well, I just want to express that yours is a very interesting comparison, and I think you brought quite persuasive scientific evidence there. For the sake of time, I'm just going to yield.
Yeah, I'm very interested in science now, understanding matter coming out of consciousness instead of consciousness coming out of matter. That seems to be a major breakthrough. But I would assume not, even among scientists, not necessarily many scientists even know or agree.
In the train. It takes time to change. First time holding the microphone. Okay, so that's true. It takes time for people to accept the new things. So, but with more experiment, with more research, you see now that people start to change their mind. Now that consciousness gives rise to everything. See, so
did they say among scientists that they had debate or?
Oh, of course they debate.
Right.
But see, I didn't want to mention the Michio Kaku superstring. He didn't receive any reward, and he didn't receive any Nobel Prize or anything. So we better not discuss on it for now, even though it helps a lot to see Buddha in 11 dimension level. While the quantum theory got many notice, rewards, Nobel Prize. So we better stay on the science so people don't say, you don't have any concrete evidence. So I think Buddhism, it's just walk with science, not only the faith, but it also give us a confidence that we don't accept things blindly. Like Buddha say, you have to experience, you have to see for yourself, don't take it blindly. And that's how I am. I'm very reasonable, but I like to have the science support what Buddha say. It's just wonderful. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much. Wonderful
Thank you.
presentation. So we'll take a short break before the next presentation.
Good evening, Venerable Master Thích and committee. Today, my presentation, my topic is applying ethical guidance of the 5 precepts brought to reduce crime in American society. Yeah. Yeah. My presentation will go through what is the 5 precepts and what are the benefits of the 5 precepts, and why does legal punishment, even the death penalty, not reduce the crime? These are all my my research question. Do the moral qualities of the 5 precepts have a positive impact on society? And how can people observe the 5 precepts? And how to apply the 5 precepts to society to improve morality and reduce crime in the society? And last, finally, is the further research. What is the 5 precepts? Is the 5 precepts found in the AN 8.39 Abhisanda Sutta. And the 5 precepts is a set of ethical guidelines to help lay people behave in a moral and ethical way. And the first precept is refrain from destroying living creature. The second, refrain from taking that which is not given. And the third precept is to refrain from sexual misconduct. And the fourth one is the refrain from incorrect speech. And the fifth one is the refrain from intoxicating drinking and drugs. Is what the benefit when the practitioner observe the 5 precepts, and what the benefit? That's a one when I hear one Dharma talk, and then I remember, whatever we get opposite from the 5 precepts. When we stop killing, so it means enhance our compassion. Yeah, it's the opposite. If you not stop the stealing, so we will promote our charity and alms-giving heart. And this one opposite, fidelity and expression of the wholesome love. And the fourth one is honesty and integrity of the trustworthiness. And the fifth one is the intoxicant. If we not, get drunk, so our mind will, clarity and clarity of thought. And when we observe the 5 precepts, so we can, reduce the suffering, and we progress on the path of enlightenment. And this is my research question, why the laws is not doesn't work. So, but the 5 precepts, we have the 5 category of the crimes. So it's too cover, too broad. So I only select one: gun control, the mass shooting, because it's now a lot, debate on social. So that's why I select this, the mass shooting. For the cause, they find out, the gun ownership, because in American society, everybody, they have the thought, they own the gun for safety, or so that's why the gun ownership, the rate very high in American. And but when they have the gun at home, so the problem, the unsecured storage the gun. So that's the second problem. And for the internet and all the media, the game, so violent. So that's that. Or some of the cause they found. But the law is not the law is ineffective because the law only address the consequences and not the root cause. Because we see these causes, and the law, for now, for example, this one, they will increase the waiting times and background check, and they to reduce this one. So that's why they only address the consequences. And so that's why it doesn't work. And on the debate, some pro and some con. So I see this research, Morehouse, he referred to another report, and within the 13 studies, and they say only 2 work. Only 2 they report, the gun control work, and another 2 mix. It means the work doesn't work, but the 9 found it doesn't work. So that's why that's a majority win, right? So it's proof. The law doesn't work, the gun control doesn't work, because they only address the consequences, not the root cause. And another, in this report, he also found the gun control simply doesn't influence the behavior. This one behavior is almost the root cause. That's from the mind, right? So now, when we say the 5 precepts bring a lot benefit for the practitioner, and is it work? So maybe we only talk, right? But we have to prove it's work. So one of the research from Nelson, he's from law school, and he compared the Louisiana city and Bhutan. He compared, because he law in law school, so he compared the constitution and government structure and law enforcement system and all the criminal code. So he compared, make sure it has similar. So when we compare, we have to not compare the orange to lemon, right? So we have to compare orange to orange. So that's why his study case, he compared to system, and and he analyzed his collected data, confirmed Louisiana has been known to have the highest incarceration rate per capita in the world. It means in the world, it's not in the USA. Buddhism is the religion that's a practice throughout the Bhutan countries, religion play a role in the low crime rate in the country. Buddhism has 5 precepts for which all Buddhists try to live their life by. So this one prove, when we, the whole society, when we practice the 5 precepts, so the crime rate will low. Because he compared 2 cities similar, so it's proof. And we know the 5 precepts good, so how we practice, how we follow. So as earlier I said, the law is not look at the root cause, but the Buddhism look the problem at the root cause. And the root cause original from the mind, and then that's because in our mind we have greed, anger, and ignorance. So that as the Venerable Thích Nhất, he said, in our mind we have the wholesome and then unwholesome seed. So if we act in the wholesome way, we will be happy. If we act in the unwholesome way, we will water the seed of craving, anger, and violence in yourself and in order. Yeah, so it means, in our mind, if we always nurture the unwholesome seed, so our action will unwholesome. So that's why, if we want to make our mind good and clear, and so Buddha, offer the Noble Truth to practice, to cultivate our mindfulness. And when we have the 5 mindfulness, so our action is all, of course, is a good action. So now we have the noble path is right view, right thought, and right speech, right action, and right livelihood, and right effort, and right mindfulness, and right concentration. So the first 2 is for the wisdom, and the next 3 is for the ethic conduct, and the last 3 is for the concentration. So it's train our mind. So Buddha, in Buddhism we know the root cause, and we have the way to solve it. When we saw at the root cause. And now we have the all that good and how we apply to the society. So for the individual level, it's look like role model, and then domino effect. If we practice the 5 precepts and we do all our action good, and we will significantly influence the people around. For example, if I live in I follow the precept, and first of all, I will influence my family member, and even at work, they look at the good action we do, treat others. So that's and when everybody if the more people practice the 5 precepts, so of course the society we will get the benefit for the whole society. That's for the individual level, but for the higher the community level is to apply. We have the we see the monk and nuns. They, beside the practice Buddhism, they also have the mission to propagate Buddhism. So even Buddha himself, he also sent his first group, 60 Arahant monk, to propagate the way of the Buddhism. And he said, Bhikkhu, may each one of you go forth for the benefit of the many. So he wanted to send all the Bhikkhu, Bhikkhuni, go to the society to help and the whole society. So that's why we have the monk and nun. They have the mission to spread the Buddhism, because we want to apply the 5 precepts. So we have to spread the Buddhism, and that's why we have to support the all the temple or Buddhist organization or university, such as our university we do the Dharma teaching. So we support all the Buddhist organization to spread out the benefit of the 5 precept and Buddhism to the entire society. And then when that entire society, everybody living with the ethic conduct. So of course the society will peaceful. And this is further my research. There have been efforts to promote Buddhism in the United States, but very few. And according to Dr. Hong, he said, only few groups. He has the group to go to the prison to teach Buddhism to the prisoner. And on his research, he see, not much go to the society to spread out the Buddhism. And he also said, even though Buddhism had been brought to the U.S. for more than a century, more than 100 years, the Buddhist population is approximately 1% or less in all states, except 2% in California. It can be safely stated that Buddhism has not been widely accepted in many states as religion, and has not really entered to the American mainstream yet. So I see we have the problem with the American society. We cannot, somehow we cannot spread the Buddhism fast. So that's why, what are the obstacles? and what the strategy do the Buddhist organization have to strike these obstacles. So that's it for the further research. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much. As usual, we'll do the grading and then we'll ask some questions. I'm curious, in your research, did anyone talk about PTSD as being one of the reasons why there's a lot of gun violence? That's like a theory I have, but I haven't found research. I haven't tried to look yet, but maybe we have a lot of gun violence in America because people have a lot of PTSD. So I was wondering, did you find anybody talk about that?
In my scope of the research, I not pay attention much on the gun. I only take some example, but for the mental problem. But one of the research, they said not all mental problems do the violence. Not all. So that's not the good reason when we blame on the mental problem.
That's not enough to explain it, right? This is another question, maybe outside your research, but if we think about the history in America, we have the Native Americans being killed, we have the slavery of African Americans, so there's lots of suffering in the history of America. I'm wondering, do you know, as a Buddhist, what are rituals that we can do in America that would try to deal with the past? And I realize this is outside your research, so I'm just asking in general, and maybe the panel may also have some.
Yeah, that's a very interesting topic. So it's for further research.
So I guess what I say is this is very good presentation, and it's leading me asking more questions. So that's a very good sign that you have a good presentation. So yeah, well done. Other questions from the panel? Do you have any questions?
Thank you. It was a very interesting presentation you did, especially I think you cited really some good evidence, right, to support your claims on both sides of the aisle, so to speak. What was most interesting particularly was that legal issue comparison between Louisiana and Bhutan, right? There is some hope. So the question I would ask you is the 5 precepts, at least I think the way I know is called the Upasaka or Upasika precepts. There are 5. Must one take all 5, or can one choose 1, 2, 3, 1, 2? Can one choose? Or is it obligation to take all 5?
No, as I listen to the Dharma talk, the Buddha, he offered 5, so you can partially follow 1, 2, or 3. Yeah, you keep 1, so you reduce 1. You keep 5, yeah, reduce 5, or 3, reduce 3. So you get benefit, you depend on what you keep. Yeah.
Sure. I'm playing with this tool here. So of these 5 things, from your perspective, let's say if you are only going to do 2, not all 5. I know you have all 5. What are the 2 most important precepts? Or your advice for people like somebody like me, like I can't take 5, but I want to take maximum 2. What are the top 2 I should take?
The top 2, I suggest not take toxicant, and The second one, I think, do not do the sexual misconduct. Because, the other, naturally, we already keep, the killing. We never kill the other, right? But only some, if we keep the first one, so we don't kill the animal, that's a further. But for natural, we don't kill, yeah, so that's why I suggest, I keep that two.
Thank you very much. I like it.
Okay, well done, well done.
All right.
So we'll take a short break and then our next presentation.
All right, thank you very much.
I'm here to present. My topic is Buddhist woman in Buddhism. The reason I choose this topic is I was come from the family of where the society, was more patriarchal system. So in my father's time, they allow more freedom to men than women. And my mother, she tried to raise me as in the Confucianism rules. So instead of sending me to school, she wants me to learn the art of cooking and sewing, but I implore my father to give me the French education, so which is very controversial to my situation. So in the family, I suffer of gender inequality because my mother always favored the boys. And in school, I learned different, liberal thoughts. So it was always a challenge. Next. So first, we focus on the identity of women for for spirituality. The mother love is very innate. We can see that the mother love in the animal world. Animals, they receive birth, feeding their chest. We see the mother only. And we see the bear with their cubs. We always see the mother along with their children. However, in Buddhism, we see it's a universal view for gender. Everyone can get enlightened. So, and how do women cope with gender differences? And the characteristic of the women are, biological capacity. They have, when they get pregnant or they prepare for childbirth, so in the hormones change. It's called the oxytocin. It increased during the childbirth, the pregnancy. So that's the natural maternity affection. But for psychology and sociology, some people don't like to have children. And for mental health, they are not ready to have children. So life experiences depends on the controls also, because in some like Asian countries, we suggest the mother to nurture their children. But some people don't like that idea. They want to keep their beauty shape, their self-care, and also their social standard. So maternity love is not universal. However, we can see some men, they cherish their children more than their mothers. What happened? Sometimes I think about it's maybe the dependent origination, maybe from the past life, they have been mothers. We never know. So their mother love is universal. So we challenge the innate narrative mother love. Buddhist teacher teach, like clinging to identity is not good. That's a source of suffering. However, motherhood is honored. Even with filiahood is also honored. But some are not expected to every woman. For spiritual development is open to all, regardless of nurturing roles. Care and compassion are always embraced, but not required to express maternal form. Buddhism always value universal compassion. It's called karuna. And also in Buddhist, in Vajrayana, we study Mahakarunas. This is the greater love. It's more like Bodhisattva. Buddhism, but real life is very complex. Women may face a moral conduct, guilt, spiritual doubt in their situation, like abortion. In some case, they have unwanted pregnancy. How do they do? Most of the people go to have abortion. And we have statistics that show that according to the statistics of WHO, that organization, every year in the world, there are around 73 million abortions. That means over 200,000 a day. And something that stick to my mind when I was in the refugee camp in Singapore. I see women, young girls, impregnated by the Thai pirates. They are very distressed. They cry every day. They don't know what to do. If we have a doctor at the camp, they might get abortions. They all agree to abortion, but later they have guilt. They are scared, and their body is not accepted that resolution. And also, like for example, next. For example, we have the moral conflict. Traditionally, Buddhism, the first precept that my colleague my classmate just explained is not to kill. However, in that situation, how we do? So the intention, Buddha is very, very kind. He also offers remedies. Like the intention is more important. If you have the motivation to kill, that's more than the action. So now, was it done by the compassion? If you raise a child, the unborn child, and you're not happy when you see that child, you remember the father, you will hate the father. How you love that child? So there are many reasons to have abortions. So many Buddhist teachers, they stress on non-judgment. We cannot judge anyone. Everyone has their own reason for their own, to take action of their lives, of their body. So Buddhism teach mindfulness and healing and punishment too. So if you happen to have a child with disability, let's say a child with autism. I witnessed at the pool when I go to the gym. I witnessed one man. He's maybe over 30 years old, but he must have autism. Every time he swim, he just walks to the swim. He doesn't swim. He just walks. He takes his own, on the land for himself, and we all respect him because we know that the mother is watching. And also, she nurtures him like a baby. She bathes him, she showers him, she comb his hair, Anyway, sometimes I wonder, what happens to her life if she has that child aborted? Will she be as happy as now? So she's she in her innate mother love, that's a caregiving character that helped her to have the courage to raise that child. That man, now he's over the 30 years old. So we talk about the conflict and the guilt. So Buddhist practice invites honest self-reflection through mindfulness and loving kindness for oneself, self-forgiveness, and non-attachment. So what's the Buddhist perspective on gender? So doing that, we have to analyze to see the history. First, Buddhist perspective is about non-self, no fixed identity, including gender. Compassion, karuna, and the virtue for all, not just women. So how do women cope with gender discrimination in their spiritual practice? So we go back to the history. In pre-Buddhist age, it was a patriarchal system. So men had the secondary status in Vedic society. The main duty is marriage. And domestic and family duties like raising children, housework, herding, agriculture, and serving the men of the house, even husband and sons. There is no education. It's restricted. Education and spiritual practice were reserved for men. So women are lack of institutional religious roles. And I heard also, when even inside the womb, when they determine the fetus, they try to abort the female fetuses. So the holy books of Hindus do not see women as equal in society. Fetuses determined to be female and mostly aborted. Female bodies are mostly abandoned, thrown into the trash. And women are liabilities because they have to have dowries for marriage. So they are very seen little more than the vaginas. With convenient attachment to, with all the housework. So rapes and violent criminals happen daily in India and most, poor countries. But how about at the Buddha time? We see that the turning point. When Buddha teaches Dharma, he taught Buddha to all the householders and their wives, their families. So we can see that the equal opportunity for people to listen to Dharma. Initially, Buddha didn't like to have the women in the Sangha order. However, Queen Mahaprajapati Gautama, she decided to lead 500 noble women walking barefoot, head shaved, for 16 miles to the Kapitastalski. I don't remember the name, but whatever, and to implore Buddha to allow them to the Sangha order. First, at the beginning, Buddha hesitated because Buddha thinks that women are hindrances to monks to become enlightened. They are obstacle to monks to get, because monks has more desires. And having nuns along the Sangha order, that will mess the order. So we need to know how the woman cope with distress with different Buddhist traditions. So first we know that Buddhism spread from India to Sri Lanka to other Southeast Asia by sea road. And the core of the teaching in Theravada, Vinaya, Pitaka, Tripitaka, and the ultimate goal is to, to achieve the four levels of meditations, like a stream enterer, Sotama, stream enterer, once returner, non-returner, and Arahat. However, starting in the 11th century, because of the conflicts in, political conflicts in Sri Lanka, the bikini order died out. There are no more nuns in the group of Sangha. So they are not allowed to take, ordinarily, the requirement is to have nuns order, nuns ordained. It have to be a dual ordination. It have to be a group of monks and a group of nuns at the same time to get ordination. So, since the bikini order died out, they are not allowed to take full ordination. So they are poor because people. They respect, people respect monks more than nuns. They don't get to receive the alms, and they have to serve the male monks, and they live, trying to live in anywhere they can because there is no separate living quarters for nuns. So, in Thai, the Thai Machi, they wear white robes. And in Theravada, in other countries, like Cambodia and yeah. So other countries they have it's called Dasasimala Mata. And they wear light yellow or orange robes, But they are only allowed to receive 10 precepts only, not the full ordination. There is no school, no teaching. They have to listen to whatever the monks, the male monks would teach them, when they've been served. So how do we cope with adverse conditions? They, because they think that that's their karma to be born as a female, so they have to practice patience, to accept that karma, and tolerance and submission. Their situation is a very disadvantage. Next. Women in the Mahayana tradition. So we already know we are expert in that tradition. So I want to skip that. How do women cope with adverse conditions? They seek first. When we have problem, we go to the temple and we ask for advice from the monks, and we will take refuge. First people venerate the most that is Guan Yin. Actually, she's from Avalokiteshvara is a male form, but in the Korea, Vietnam, China, we personate her as the female form. So, because we think as mother love, and she's always protecting us. We see her at the sea when some people took the picture when we were rescued. On the boat, we were boat people, and somebody took that picture, black and white, seeing her appearance. And, and also Prajamamrita is from the Heart Sutra. But that deity was personalized as a female in Vajrayana, in Tantra. So we see her left hand holds the Heart Sutra. That's the doctrine about emptiness. And I see, you know, I saw also the queen, that queen Shimaka, you know, from the book about the lion roar. She wrote a book about leadership, the female leadership, by practicing Dhammakaya. Dhammakaya is a, you know, is the Dhammakaya Buddha has a perfection of permanence, the perfection of pleasure, and the perfection of self, and the perfection of purity. Whatever sentient being sees the Dhammakaya, the Tathagata, that way see correctly. Those who see correctly are conscious sons of the Lord, born from his heart, born from his mouth, born from his Dharma, and they behave as manifestation of Dharma, and they are the heirs of Dharma. So that is what our venerable and monks and nuns are practicing to achieve Dhammakaya. The question is, can women be enlightened in the female body? So when we heard about the story in the 12th chapter of Devadatta of the Lotus Sutra, when Sariputta visited the sea world, and he challenged the sea daughter's dragon. She was only 8 years old, but she practiced the Lotus Sutra. So he challenged her, saying, you know, it takes Buddha millions of billions of kalpas, you know, for Buddha Shakyamuni to achieve enlightenment. And women are subject to the 5 obstacles. You know, they cannot be Brahma, heavenly king. They cannot be a king Chakra. They cannot be a Devon king, or they cannot be wheel turning sage. So they cannot be a Buddha. When he challenged her that way, she replied, "Mind and intention are originally pure. Buddhahood can be attained by all. And because of that, ultimately the mind is neither male or female." But in the 8th century, so initially Buddha, you know, didn't like the idea of having women in the Bhikkhuni or in the Sangha order. However, at the 8th century, Padmasambhava, we call also, sorry, we ran out of time. So we move on though. Let's move on to my favorite section. It's called the Dakini power in Mahayana Buddhist tradition. So, like Padmasambhava said, the woman has more potential. If they commit to study, to practice, they have more potential than men to achieve enlightenment. So from his sentence, you know, and we impersonate many female deities. We see the peaceful deity like Green Tara. She's a peaceful deity. She embodies the protection, love, and protection to all sentient beings. We can see that she saved people in the sea at different places. She offers 11 protection types. And we have the rightful, semi-rightful Vajrayogini. She represents the wisdom, the inner wisdom. Wisdom in Vajrayana is more explicit than wisdom in Mahayana. It's more intense, more at a deeper level in the consciousness. And we have, like I already told, the Prajaparita, you know, for the Heart Sutra, she is also the female deity. So Buddhism also, you know, Vajrayana have 5 paths and 2 stages. The 5 paths are preparation, accumulation of merit, knowing wisdom directly, and path of learning and path of no more learning. And that's the 5 paths in Vajrayana. And we practice the generation stage and the completion stage. The completion stage is secret. It's only talk to teacher to secret to good qualified teacher to qualified student. But we have how do women cope with their distress, their purification, karma purification in Vajrayana. They have extensive negative purification with at least 100,000 prostration, mantra recitation, millions of mantra recitation, extensive merit accumulation by mandala offering, drawing, satsa making, water and lamp offering, toma making, a lot of practice. And what I like the most, because it's not too difficult to practice, that's Tonglen practice. Tonglen practice is the meditation to practice self for others. So we breathe in the negative air from others, and we breathe out our positive energy to the people we address to. And that's only imagination, only meditation. But gradually, it will enhance your Bodhisattva mind. Yeah, so, and also this is hard for Tantric master, because they spend hours in practicing body giving. You know, so body giving, like visualizing, breaking their body in different parts to offer to all the negative forces, to all beings. And they practice that in the charnel grounds, in cemeteries. So to subdue the fear from their own, the fear and their love to on even, you know, the ugly Maras, you know, we come to scare them. So that's called cutting through the ego. So for the future of the woman, Buddhist woman.
Just a time check, I think we're
sorry.
close to time. So just wrapping up is good.
And yeah, we just show the slide. Yeah. So in, you know, we show all the role models in practice. We have Jason Tenzin Palmo. She impressed me by being in the cave for 12 years, being alone in the cave on the mountains, in the Himalayas mountain. That impressed me very much, inspired me so much, because she learned for the truth, for the and also different figures, you know, in practice of Vajrayana. The next one also for future women, what I advise to all my female colleagues is to have self-confidence, because the enlightenment is a potential for everyone. But women, we need to have education and self-esteem, and we have to have dedication. If we don't get access to an education, now education is so available everywhere, because with the internet, the media, the Facebook, the Zoom meetings, so we have to progress in learning. So compassion includes, you know, in Buddhism we know that compassion includes everywhere, So you have to love yourself and also to love others. Buddhism does not offer rigid rules, but it's a path of wisdom and presence so now even we know that we have 84,000 of Dharma, but it's all, it's open to all. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll take a few moments for the scoring, and then we'll ask some questions.
One thing. May I add a few minutes? In this book, Lady Yeshe Soyel, she was raped in the cave. When she was meditating in the cave, and she was raped by 7 bandits. However, from her compassion, her bodhisattva mind, she transferred them to enlightened beings. That's very untrue for our, unbelievable to our conventional eyes. However, when I read that story, I think about Buddha at this time. Buddha also, from his mind, he subdued the drunk elephant. And also in his story, the past life, he gave his body to the tiger family. And they all became his disciples the next lifetime. So in my mind, Bodhisattva is very powerful.
Okay, so any questions from the panel?
Hello. I just want to express my appreciation that you brought different perspectives on female gender in Buddhism, pre-Buddhist time, Buddhist time, and then in different vehicles or yanas. I think it's very important that we all need to be aware of that, right? The Buddhist perspectives on understanding that females, as far as I am concerned, have the same ability to become Buddha as much as I have the ability to become Buddha. So that's my final statement. I'm not Buddha, but that's what it is. Yeah. Thank you. I yield.
Thank you very much for the presentation. I guess I don't have a question, more of an observation. Like here in America, we have a fight between pro-life and pro-choice, and a lot of the pro-life is Christian, and a lot of pro-choice will tend to be scientific materialists. And so it's interesting that you have a feminist perspective on Buddhism that includes spirituality and recognizes rebirth. And so it makes the issue more complex. I don't think there's an easy answer, but
yeah, that's not easy.
So I'm just wondering for yourself, have you found feminism in America, do you feel like sometimes it's missing spirituality? And so like, do you as a Buddhist feel like you wish there was more spirituality within the feminism?
Everything depends on the dependent origination. So if you have good karma, you meet the good teacher, you are going to the right path. We cannot wish, of course, everyone wish, to have love, compassion, everyone practice harmony between themselves, However, it depends on the karma. We never know.
Other questions? Okay, she's okay. So again, thank you very much. It takes a lot of guts to present loaded topics, so I admire your courage.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening to the Thesis committee. I hope everybody just enjoy today. I know it's tough, it's hard, but I hope you enjoy. For me, I'm a little nervous, but I'm exciting. Today, for my presentation, my thesis today is about Buddhism for Noble Truth, interwave, not intersection, interwave with the trauma therapy. The reason why I picked this there you go. Whoop. Hi. The reason I picked this topic very simple, because when we become a Buddhist monk, a lot of people say, hey, what can you do for me, us, the modern time, and all this trauma, depression, gambling, all this situation. And then sometimes they give me one question is, you do nothing for the modern society. I have the problem, talk to them. When I try to explain to them, some of them give me only 1 minute to explain why I want to become a Buddhist and why I cannot become a Catholic. So I give them simple answer. If I become a Buddhist, I can become a Buddha, nature. But if I become a Catholic, I serve my Jesus. So that is my answer. However, the situation keep going with a lot of kids, a lot of people have depression. They say, what can you do for us? And I normally tell them, you have to read something in your mind. What do you want to be? You want to go with the flow, then you go to work. But if you want to settle yourself and have the situation peaceful and have a good life, then you have to learn about the Buddhist philosophy. So my topic is Buddhism for Noble Truth, interwave the trauma therapy. This is, I get it from the Kalamaku Sutta about the arrow. This story, very simple, but it's very deep, that if you think about it, a wounded man get an arrow shoot and the poison. So what should he tell the surgeon? What should he tell? A, I won't let you take out the arrow, but you have to tell me who is the one that suit me. Now, the society, if you get into the depression, hey, who caused me problem? Very much that. And then B, hey, if I will let you remove the arrow until you tell me who suit me. So that's very much out of question also. See, I won't take this, I won't have this arrow removed until I have to know the bow and what kind of crossbow suit me. In other words, if I do something wrong, I want to know what kind of thing wrong that I did to myself. No, you know what you do. And then D, hey, if I let you remove the arrow, you have to tell me what kind of shape of the arrow. Hello, you get the poison arrow, you're going to die. So what is the answer here? Z, just do it. Just take it out. And how do they take it out? It's so simple, but it's so complicated. Simple that you know you have to remove the poison arrow, but how do you remove it? And then how do you don't let it relapse again? And then you might get into the same situation. So with that in mind, my research question is why I picked this topic. Is help the modern life with the suffering life. Everybody is suffering. Some people, this is story, the real story, over drinking the tea. And then one day he stopped by the Starbucks and he ordered a tea. The cashier said, do you want sugar? And then he said, yeah. No, his friend said yes. you want milk? His friend said yes. And then in his mind, go like, why? I order a cup of tea in India, they give me a cup of tea. So the story is simple, but it's get into a deep situation that he get this suffering because so simple, why you make it complicated? That's the story. So the next one, I'm going to introduce you the Four Noble Truths, which is on the left-hand side is my question, and then on my right-hand side is the answer. The answer is Four Noble Truths. You see the Eightfold Path and Vipassana meditation. I will explain that later. But the next one is the MBSR and the MBCT. It's a contemporary therapy practice. It's talking about the mindfulness-based stress reduction. And another one is mindfulness-based cognitive therapy. We can call it MBCT. And then the last one is acceptance commitment. I want to take that out, but then I decide I have to put that in because that will help and will have the result on the final when you realize that everything happened, then that ACT come in along. Okay, so I explained about interweave instead of intersection. What do I finding the benefit of integrate the Four Noble Truths with the modern therapy? And then that's on the page 10, the slide 10. The future direction will be the last one. So the methodology I use is correlation by Edward Foley and compare theory and practice by Paul Tillich. Thank you, Dr. Fritz. The last class, we learned that one. And I attempt to do the qualitative by Norman Denzin and Straw and Glaser and Corbin, but I don't have enough time, so I take them out to make sure that when I do that kind of research, I got to have good evidence, so I cut it off. So the next one, I know this is a little bit repeat, but I want to tell you guys about the Buddha, who's Buddha, awakening, human being, achieve enlightenment, and a good guy, and an example. So makes it simple. So what is Four Noble Truths? Four Noble Truths is the first sermon that the Buddha have teaching the sutra, and based on the SN 56:11, he talked about the Four Noble Truths. Up to this point, a lot of people understand that, hey, suffering is suffering, but no, suffering, a lot of different physical suffering, emotional suffering, or subtle suffering. The situation I'm talking about, the coffee, the tea, have the milk and sugar, that's very subtle suffering. Another one, the second one is the origin of the suffering. It's the source that because you're craving, because you attach to it or you ignore it. It's quite subtle also because when you eat something, normally you have the spicy food or the taste different, then you start saying, oh, it doesn't taste good. That's suffering. And then instead of you enjoying it, you eat only a half of them and then you go like sideways. So that's suffering. Cessation suffering. How can you eliminate all of this suffering caused by craving, attachment, and ignorance? Yeah, you can eliminate it by you practice. You eliminate your craving. Phúc Nguyen yesterday, he talked about the craving the coffee. And then the day that every day he got coffee, that become the origin of the suffering. He might know, he might not know, but he can eliminate that. The fourth one is how the path to the cessation of suffering. This one, introduced to us by A4 path. This is the situation that a lot of people know, but they cannot explain, or they can explain, but they did not practice or experience it. So they know they can talk about it, but they don't fix it. Or they keep going, and then they say, hey, why it happened to me? But so the A4 path, I categorize them into three. One is the wisdom, and then ethical conduct, and the mental discipline. Once you categorize this, then you realize that, hey, you belong to which one. If you keep forgetting, that is, you don't have the right view and you don't have the right thought. If you eat something and then it becomes your habit, that is very much in the ethical conduct. You have to the way you speak to people, or the way you talk to people. Sometimes you become natural to you when you talk loud or you talk softly, but you don't know. And then those things help you to see the suffering also. The last one is mental discipline. It's a right effort and right mindfulness. Number 7, and the right emotion. We will pay more attention about the number 7 because the right mindfulness, it happens a lot. A lot means sometimes you want to do the right thing, but you happen to do the wrong thing. You meant to say something, but then your communication might get away from your meaning. This 8-4 path and Vipassana meditation is very much close and very much complement each other. So the reason I put this together, because when the Buddha teaching how to eliminate the suffering, he teaching all of this. So my favorite thing is color code. So when I'm talking about the green one, that is MBSR. That's a lot of people have used this method. And then MBCT is a new design developed by Zin Siegel, Mark William, and John Teasdale in 1990. And then the last one, my favorite one is the ACT, Acceptance, Commitment, Therapy. I have to introduce you this because if you see all of this, you will see that meditation, yoga, awareness, and then you present moment awareness without judgment. All of this have to deal with the Vipassana meditation, have to deal with the right thought, rightfulness. MBCT. This is good because when you go through a session in one full day from the MBSR, people take drug, for a while they quit, and they come back, they call relapse. So this MBCT will help you to recognize it and stop it and move on. And then the last one, that ACT is tell you how you're feeling and how you thought, and then you have to accept the way you are and the way people around you or the environment around you. Color code again, MBSR, MBCT, and ACT. The first noble truth, we talk about the suffering. The suffering, the whole point here is you have to accept it as a sufferer. And you know that it's suffering, but it's not helpless. Again, there's situations that you have to know, but you not resist. You know that you have to accept you have the problem. If you don't accept that you have the problem, then we cannot fix anything. So that's the way, one of them. And then with MBCT, they use the same thing. The thought and the feeling is about the rightful thought, thinking, and right aspiring. So it's we break off the negative thinking that, hey, I'm the worthless in the world, I'm addicted to drug, I'm alcoholic and all of that. But if you accept it, then you have the way, you know the problem, so you can fix the problem. ACT is go directly to the pain that if you don't have a coffee in the morning, you don't have alcohol evening, then you have the problem, and ACT help you to recognize that. Because a lot of people say, no, I don't have any problem with beer, but in the morning they open a cup of beer and they drink. Even me, sometimes I don't have a coffee in the morning, I fall asleep, but I accept that I'm addicted to coffee. Second noble truth is about the craving that I have mentioned about. You have to know that you're craving because of the coffee, because of your habit, and the attachment also. All this second noble truth have been applied to MBSR, MBCT, and ACT. The color code for me is every time I put the red, that is have come across to the second noble truth. So you observe the thinking. You say, hey, I always hate this person, but in the morning I don't see him, but I still hate him. It becomes the habit. And then MBCT, the same thing. The same thing means you wake up in the morning, you don't do anything, but you go and smoke, or you turn. This day, people have this kind of habit, but they don't realize that. They turn on the phone, and then they look at the YouTube, look at the Facebook, and then they sit there and they watch, and then they eat. And they don't know that, hey, that's a bad habit, but that's the pattern of the mind. And then ACT it's a little bit flexibility, but you have to open it and engage the value based on the action. Again, when you hold the phone, you turn on the phone, you look at the phone, then you flip everything to the Facebook. And you didn't realize that, hey, I don't care about email someone sent to you, I don't care anything, but I want to see the Facebook, everything first. That's another bad habit. So they said the approaching is the aware of the design, create the space between the design and action. So you hold the phone, you want to see the Facebook or YouTube, but you say, no, 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 no. So you cut off the craving or the habit. The third noble truth is the cessation. A lot of people notice that I have that bad habit, but how can I cessation my bad habit? Some of them say, yeah, it's so easy. You just take a walk and do something else. That's basic thing. But then when you come back to the same environment, you're going back to your own habit. And then you question yourself again, how am I fix that? And here's the situation. You have to understand the impermanence nature. That means you have to understand that, hey, everything got to be changed. Whether you like it or you don't like it, it will change. And then MBCT teach you how to recognize your thinking pattern. And then if you feel bad, you feel depression, or you hate yourself, or you hate the thought that is printing you, you have to recognize that, because the MBCT very good at this. When you relapse your habit, a lot of people are alcoholic, drug, they have the join the MBCT. ACT, again, this is a good one, but it's very final. ACT commitment and acceptance and commit will help you. They share the common goal. All of this process and the Buddha have teach, they come across the same thing. And matter of fact, Matter of fact, in the book, The Full Catastrophe Living, written by Dr. John Kabat-Zinn, he admit, and he said right there, he adapted the meditation, he adapted the practice and all of that from Four Noble Truths. So again, this will tell you when you get to the Fourth Noble Truth, how do you practice and eliminate all of this suffering. The Buddha teaching here is the Eightfold Path, and the wisdom, the ethical conduct, and mental discipline. Again, MBSR, take the number 7, right mindfulness. And then take the number 1 is right understanding. This a lot of people don't understand why I'm poor or why I'm addicted to some drug. MBCT do the same thing, but they teach you the thought and the emotion because you have to have the right mindfulness again, which is back to number 7 right here. And then ACT, the same thing, but ACT combine a lot of things from the Eightfold Path and make the patient practice of this. So the whole thing here, they all share the same element of the Eightfold Path, but they reflect on the middle path. That means you don't have to extremely say, yes, it's my problem, or no, it's not my problem. That's not the question anymore. So what I'm finding is this the matrix table, because the written thesis very long. So I had to combine them, and I say suffering is the physical emotion, so I have the column right here. So if you happen to come across, and then you use this metric and say that, okay, the suffering, what do they recognize in the MBSR and MBCT is the acknowledge the presence of the suffering as starting point for the practice. And if somebody say, hey, I have the ACT treatment, then you know right away that, okay, when they accept their suffering, rather than resisting, is the ACT. So this table, I make a symbol, so with the red color code and the column, will introduce you that, hey, where do you have the therapy, where do you have the treatment? If you have the treatment from the MBSR, then you go follow the column, and then you say, hey, what is this patient on what phase? Then you can see that, okay, this is the path to cessation. All right, so the benefit and the future direction. First of all, I did not talk about the multi-universe like my Tran talk about, and I don't talk about some sutra my college talk about it. I don't say anything but the therapy about drug. This involved with the Yvonne Dow that she talked about. You can fix your suffering by using another drug to kill another habit. So in other words, that you use drug to kill another drug. So that's not very good. But if you use the Four Noble Truths and you follow the Eightfold Path, or you practice the Vipassana, do the chanting or do the bowing, it will help. Why I mention about this? Because it creates a robust framework, and trauma therapy and drug cost money. Four Noble Truths doesn't cost money. You just come in and you commit to Master Venerable Thích say, I commit myself 2 weeks on Vipassana meditation, boom, you in the treating by yourself. So all of this combined and it's help the treatment of that. So my personal connection purpose from the Four Noble Truths and the modern therapy, the table, the matrix that I showed you guys earlier is the bridge. It's not only the bridge, but it helps you to see that, hey, how am I coming from, if I'm coming from the MBSR, where I am with the Four Noble Truths, or if I'm coming from, I don't know why I get this kind of pain, then you say, okay, what happened if you want to know the origin of the suffering, and then you come across. The whole point here is I build a table so you can see that the ancient wisdom from the Buddha, it teaches you already. Everything is there. It's just a matter of you grab it, you learn it, and you practice it, and then you on your way. You don't depend on anybody. How am I sure about it? I practice Vipassana, but I'm on the 4 level. That's all I know. So I cannot tell you that how successful it is, but I know that things happen to me, things happen to my temple, things happen to environment. I can control it. I might not solve my feeling, but I'm okay. I can handle it. So the gap that I have the problem with, again, the Vipassana movement that I learned about, but I know Dr. Fritz have research on this one, so he know a lot more. That's why when Tung Dang, he have the presentation and talk about the Western Vipassana movement. Almost none of us have the chance to do that. And he said, he promised Dr. Fritz that he going to learn about Wanka Vipassana. Learning about the drug versus a eightfold path. Then I realized that a lot of people use the drug, which is Yvonne Dow have talked about on the first day, and I'm surprised. It's from 2013, it's only $43 billion, and then 10 years later, it's cost people about $722 billion, only 10 years. And if it's work, if it's safe, yeah, but I don't really think it's safe because you drop this kind of drug, you be addicted to another drug. The last bullet, we need to develop trauma counseling or chaplain. So we, the monk, the nun, bhikkhu, bhikkhuni, and then Mr. Tran blame everything because of the monk and the nun didn't do the job, so everybody have to fight aggregation. Yes, that's true, but how do we do that? Well, welcome to Sakya Buddha University. So that's my my future direction. This is the thing that a lot of people know, or they might not know. Military, U.S. military, U.S. defense, they use this.
Oh, Venerable, maybe
training.
We can wrap up.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's all. I can wrap up right now. What I try to introduce you guys is the meditation, the treatment, everything, MBSR, Vipassana, tactical breathing for the Navy guy or the diver. They learn the breathing, but they do the technical breathing from Vipassana also. PTSD that Dr. Fritz asking earlier is type of trauma, but it's require you to report every day, and then you have to take the program ACT, the acceptance and commit, and that I believe it treat the PTSD a lot. But I did not get into this kind of research, so I don't know how or how affected, but I think it's very affected also. Navy SEAL, they use this kind of mindfulness, visualization, and meditation again. So, and that's wrap up my presentation today. And thank you.
So the committee will fill out the grades, and then we'll ask you a few questions. I really want to commend you on your presentation, on your dissertation for your thesis for this master's program. I really like how you updated the response of the Buddhist tradition. Both MBSR, ACT, MBCT actually have a long history, and they are currently in America, and they claim to have some kind of connection to Buddhist wisdom and values. And I think you did a great job in showing what exactly is their relationship with the Four Noble Truths. So I think you did a good job. I really like your color coding, and especially in your larger table, because that shows exactly where they come from. Actually, I taught this class just this morning, so I see you did a much better job than my class. So
I'm humble.
So I really applaud your approach. I already applaud that Buddhism also has, that Venerable is doing this, and that Buddhism has that confidence to evaluate claims that supposedly come from Buddhism, right? These techniques supposed to come from Buddhism, and now Buddhism has the same confidence. You know, the 2% in California has the confidence to evaluate that claim and to see whether truly they come from the Four Noble Truths and how their relationship with the Eightfold Path. So thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you.
To the other esteemed members of the committee, do you have any questions?
Does Buddhism addresses the stages one goes through as one navigates through trauma? Because trauma has various stages of development.
The answer is yes.
Buddhism addresses those stages.
That's why they have a list of suffering. I did not want to show you because it might scare everybody about the suffering. Sometimes they like it, sometimes they don't like it, because let me show you. Here the list of my suffering. So if you interest, I will send you all of the cause suffering, cause the physical, and the next one is about the impermanence and pervasive suffering. So you don't accept the situation like the tornado or hurricane or whatever, ignorance root, you have the problem with the self and reality. That, and then I break down to smaller part, and each of them have different kind of suffering. The Buddha doesn't tell you what level. I do it because it seemed to me that the physical one, that one everybody can recognize, and then going down to the list to the subtlest form. A lot of people don't recognize it. Even when you smell something, it smells bad, that's suffering your nose, suffering your thinking. And sometimes you hold up and you can keep that. So you have to train your mind that, hey, smelling bad is the way it is. So yeah, thank you.
Ginda?
I just want to say it was a very interesting interviewing, and you did a lot of work, and I hope you can test this, right, with the 2% here, did you say, in California? And, you know, if you can show the effectiveness of it, right, yes, then that would be really wonderful to benefit, you know, many trauma patients who need it. So, yes, Buddha bless you to succeed in this, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
And now we invite our Venerable Master Thích to give a few words.
Dạ, Thầy Tâm Hiếu dịch dùm. Kính thưa tất cả các vị giáo sư giám khảo, cho phép chúng tôi được thay mặt Đại học Sakya Buddha rất là biết ơn các vị đã tham dự trong cái vai trò của nhân vị giám khảo cho chương trình Triết học Phật giáo trong 2025 năm nay.
Master Venerable Thích would like to thank you all of you and greatly appreciate all your help and those time make this successful for the year 2025.
Dạ, cho thầy được nói lời chúc mừng với tất cả các vị nghiên cứu sinh đã bảo vệ thành công trong suốt năm đêm hôm qua.
Yeah, and then the congratulate to all the students, all the attendant and do the presentation successful for the last 5 days.
Yeah. Và chúng tôi hy vọng rằng trong chương trình AI Dharma với chương trình gây dựng cái cơ sở dữ liệu cho số học của gọi là số hóa Phật giáo, gọi là số giáo lý Phật giáo, mã số hóa Phật giáo, sẽ các vị sẽ là cái nhân lực quan trọng để hỗ trợ cho chương trình AI Dharma tiến tới một cái chương trình giáo sư ảo thành công sắp tới.
He would like to express that you all the doctor, teacher and professor would be the main staff, main faculty for our new program, which is AI, artificial intelligence, Dharma, and the numerical. When you talk about A4, that is the number A, and then 4 Noble Truth is number 4. That's numerical. Yeah, discourse.
Bước đầu tiên thì các vị bảo vệ thành công. Tuy nhiên để hoàn thành một cái luận án cho hoàn chỉnh và các giáo sư thì các vị sẽ dưới sự điều hành của giáo sư Victor, các vị sẽ gửi các cái bài tham luận hoàn chỉnh cho các giáo sư để chúng ta có cái điểm cuối cùng.
Yes. Dr. Gabriel going to be the point of contact for the final thesis when we partially fulfill our requirement for the master degree.
Và hy vọng là ngày 1 tháng 6 là cái ngày mà chúng ta sẽ tổ chức một cái buổi tốt nghiệp ra trường thật là vui vẻ.
And the graduation our graduation, not your guy, will be the June 1st of this year. So hopefully we see all of you there.
Cho thầy thay mặt ban giám viện xin mời tất cả các vị giáo sư cũng như tất cả các vị tham dự cái buổi lễ tốt nghiệp vào 9 giờ ngày 1 tháng 6 2025.
Venerable would like to invite all of you to join our graduation on June 1st at 9 a.m. Verbally, I think verbally invite you guys.
Rồi hôm nay chúng ta khép đàn an bài. Xin mời quý vị đứng lên hồi hướng. Chúng sinh vô biên thệ nguyện độ phiền não vô tận, đoán pháp môn vô lượng thệ nguyện học, vô thượng thế